himself. It's very rare that you hear a Republican audience boo a Republican candidate for president, but that happened in Rick Perry's case tonight repeatedly. I think Rick Perry is desperate, and he was trying to revive a candidacy that is sinking beneath the waves, and it backfired. He was booed by the audience, not once, but several times, and I think that reaction speaks for itself.
Eric, we talked a lot about immigration tonight. How does Romney feel about the Alabama model? Are there parts of that he likes?
Well, the reason that states are coming up with their own solutions to illegal immigration is because of the federal government's failure to secure the border. We pursued, when Mitt Romney was governor in Massachusetts, our own solution, and that was to authorize the state police to empower them to detain people based on their immigration status. That's what we chose for Massachusetts. Arizona has gone their own way, Alabama has gone their way. But it all fundamentally goes back to the fact that Barack Obama and the federal government have failed to secure the border.
What about the provision on elementary children being asked their status?
We prefer what we did in Massachusetts, but each state is going to go their own way so long as the federal government abdicates its responsibility to fix the border.
Eric, talk about the caucus states. There's been some concern that you had some Romney staffers who not only want to move the caucus states and move New Hampshire out of being the first primary, but also want to have same-day voter registration as well here in Nevada during the Nevada caucuses.
Well,
Can you talk about this?
let me address the whole situation with respect to Nevada and their date and New Hampshire and their date. Each state is going to decide for themselves when the election contest is going to be held. As far as New Hampshire goes, we stand with Bill Gardner, the Secretary of State. We support New Hampshire 100% in trying to maintain their first-in-the-nation status. We're confident that there'll be a resolution to this dispute, and at the end of the day, New Hampshire will go first, as they always have. Nevada should be first in the West. Nevada was always going to be one of the first four states. The fact that they have had to move their date is because Florida moved into January. So the states are making adjustments in their calendar. We're going to compete wherever there's a contest. But as far as New Hampshire goes, nobody honors more the New Hampshire tradition of going town by town, holding town hall meetings with the citizens of that state, and asking for their vote. Mitt Romney has done it in his words and in his actions, and he'll continue to do it.
Do you worry Rick Perry got under Governor's skin a little bit? Is that fair to say?
Well, you might have missed the opening, but I think Rick Perry had a strategy coming into this debate to kill Mitt, and he ended up killing himself. Well, I say that based on the audience reaction. I think what they saw in Rick Perry was a very desperate candidate, someone who was trying to revive a candidacy that is sinking beneath the waves. So he came armed with negative attacks and personal cheap shots that were booed by the audience at every turn.
Would you say that Governor Romney was?
And I think that reaction speaks for itself.
It looked like Governor Romney was frustrated at times.
Well, I think Mitt handled it very well. You guys have seen Mitt in enough settings to know that he's always a gentleman. He never attacks first, but when he's attacked himself, he will defend himself, and that's what you saw. That's what you saw tonight.
Eric,
and I think he was very forceful in defending himself.
Eric, you were with the governor when this whole immigration thing, the Boston Globe went down. You want to set the timeline of that whole thing?
Well, you guys are familiar with the story. It's not a new one. Mitt Romney hired a legitimate company to take care of his lawn. That company, in turn, hired illegal immigrants. When Mitt found out about it, he told them to correct it. When they didn't correct it, he fired them. That's not new. What is new is what Mitt Romney pointed out tonight, and that is over the last 10 years of the Rick Perry governorship, the number of illegal immigrants in Texas has gone up 60%. And in the last 3 years, the number of new jobs in Texas, 40% of them have gone to illegal immigrants. He has a problem with illegal immigration in Texas. The reason he has a problem is because he used to belittle the idea of a fence, and he passed in-state tuition for illegal immigrants, which acts as a magnet to bring people across that border.
Don't you worry.
Critical of the Occupy Wall Street movement, but studies have shown that the campaign has been receiving far more cash from the financial services industry than any of the other candidates. This is going to be problematic.
I think what Mitt's been critical of is the president's class warfare rhetoric. It's not surprising that people are restless given 9.1% unemployment and given a housing foreclosure crisis, which is felt most acutely here in Nevada. Barack Obama may want to occupy Wall Street. Mitt wants everybody to occupy a job. He doesn't blame people for being out on the street protesting the fact that there are no opportunities for them. A lot of these people are young folks who are graduating from college into an uncertain job market. Of course, they're highly anxious about the future. But the president's class warfare rhetoric is not helpful.
Does the campaign
Eric, are you concerned about how
any blame
personal
for the
this
current
exchange
economic?
got tonight between the governor and Rick Perry?
Well, look, I think Rick Perry had a strategy just debate to kill Mitt, and he ended up killing himself. The reason I say that is because of the audience reaction. Every time Rick Perry resorted to a negative attack against Mitt Romney or a personal cheap shot, the audience booed. Very rarely do you hear Republican primary audiences booing Republican candidates, but it happened repeatedly tonight with respect to Rick Perry. So I think his strategy backfired.
And what about what Rick Santorum had to say? He went right after the governor's health care plan, saying that the governor doesn't have any credibility on the subject of Obamacare. How do you think the governor handled that question?
It's not what Rick Santorum said 4 years ago when he endorsed Mitt Romney. You'll have to ask him why his